reported this morning, TDRS picked up an automated navigation beacon broadcasting at 2-minute intervals in Neptune orbit.
This is incredible. It's the Event Horizon. She's come back.
The Event Horizon is the culmination of a secret government project to create a spacecraft capable of faster-than-light flight. The ship doesn't really go faster than light. What it does is it creates a dimensional gateway that allows it to jump instantaneously from one point of the universe to another light years away.
Where's she been for the last 7 years, Doctor?
That's what we're here to find out.
After 7 years in deep space.
There were 18 people on board this ship when it disappeared. I want them all accounted for.
Opening outer door.
It came back, abandoned.
Any crew? Negative. This place is a tomb.
But it didn't come back alone.
Captain Miller! I've got some problems here!
This ship has been beyond the boundaries of our universe. Who knows where it's been? And what it's brought back with it.
What is it? The ship is reacting to us and the reactions are getting stronger.
What are you telling me? That this ship is alive?
I have such one thing to show you.
Oh my God!
It knows my secrets. It knows my fears.
Vacate. I want off this ship.
I can't leave.
She won't let you.
God help us.
Hello. I muted myself while I was playing the trailer. No, I was just saying, I think that Lawrence Fishburne gets basically all the best lines of dialogue in the movie, which is, I don't think it's a hot take. I think it's just a fact. Welcome everyone. We are doing our movie night stream, and this month we watched. I love that bit. You don't think that Sam Neill with his eyes shut, eyes wide shut. Also, I did the Johnson thing because that was my first thought when I saw the Event Horizon. That was the gif I put in the chat when we watched it, and it is very phallic. I'm glad you all like my display. It's a very phallic ship. If you've not watched Event Horizon, I'm going to be spoiling it quite extensively because I have no intention of being coy about it, but I will do my best for maybe the first 5 minutes to not spoil it. But it was a movie that we watched on the Discord. The link is just there if you're not familiar. We watch a movie a month, and somebody suggested it for Halloween, and I put all the classics. I put Rosemary Baby, I put The Shining, I put OG Halloween, I put OG Night of the Living Dead, and I put Event Horizon. And we watched Event Horizon, which is actually the only movie that I had not seen. So that was it was an experience. I have since been reading a bit more up on it since watching the movie, and I've learned a few things about it which I'm excited to share with you, but I might just save them as we go. I gave it 3 stars. I think my general opinion was that I like the idea. I'm gonna take these headphones off. Genuinely like the idea, and the idea is that obviously it's a spooky spaceship. You wish that you'd sewn your eyes shut, I think. Yeah. Well, the thing is, he's black, right? He's blind, and he has that scene. This scene, I can't point. The scene here, this scene. What's my hand doing? Maybe I'll do this one. Pointing. I'm good. That's BB. I'm not doing one pointer. But he's sewn his eyes shut. He's being a bit weird. He does that thing where like you're wearing a load of prosthetics on your face in a movie, and he's like, oh, even he's waggling his head about. He does the head waggle, which honestly was hilarious. And then not 5 minutes later, he's got he's got his eyeballs back, but his whole body is covered in other situations. Yeah, that one. There was, yeah, somebody hit the windscreen. Somebody smashed the windscreen, and then there was a lot of anti-gravity wind blowing, hanging on a rope situation. Look, man, it was made in 1987. And the one thing that I will say is, for the most part, I think the sets looked really good. I'm going to start with the praise. I'm going to start by saying the premise, abandoned spaceship in space that can create its own wormholes, went through a wormhole, came back with something sinister going on. That's a good idea. The premise is good. The sets looked really cool. I personally loved the venting made of circuit boards. I loved the practical sets that they made. I loved Lawrence Fishburne's spinny chair that kind of just, for no reason, was very spinny. Well, okay, so there was the bit where he jumped out into the vacuum of space, and that was really there is a few moments. Yeah, I mean, it's a movie, so it's the fact that everybody's seen Gravity, which is upsetting to me, because I don't think it was that good, but it was billed as a 3D movie. Yeah, so the artists, the people involved in creating the setting and the place, and the spaceship in and of itself. I know it's shaped like a penis, but it's a pretty cool spaceship. I feel like it's been copied quite frequently. Yeah, it's a movie. You have to suspend your disbelief with the whole. There's a lot of suspension of disbelief. And gravity, and I mean, there's a whole bit where a black hole just pops out of nowhere, and that just, I mean, it is the climax of the movie, but and at that point, obviously, suspension of disbelief is stretched to its full point of credulity. However, yeah, you just have to go with the guy smashing the windscreen. I think we're just gonna have to let that one slide. I mean, it's not aerodynamic by any stretch of the imagination. That is not a spaceship. It's not. So it's got like, so for anybody who's not aware, it's got like a section on the front that we'll call it the head, and then it's got a really long I'm gonna say vein, no, tunnel, and then it's got like some little balls at the bottom. It's a strangely shaped spaceship. Yeah, I mean, once it's in space, it doesn't have to be aerodynamic because it's not trying to push through the forces of anything. You know, like a normal spaceship is shaped in such a way to penetrate the gravitational pull of the Earth and get through the atmosphere. But then once it's in space, it doesn't. The spaceship doesn't really need to have much aerodynamics. But again, I think there's a reason. I mean, it's never really fully explained what that tunnel section of the spaceship is actually look like for. I'm assuming it's to power up the mega drive at the end, the big spinny ball thing. I wish I'd had pictures. I wish I could show you, like I wish we could get a like map of the spaceship so I could show you what the fuck I'm talking about. But yeah, it's actually designed to look like Notre Dame upside down. Didn't get that. Actually, the one thing that I do know is that there was a 2-parter episode of Doctor Who, which was also like, it's 2 45-minute episodes, and it's the Ood were introduced, and it's Lieutenant Billy Piper, and in hindsight on Sleeping on It, it's the exact same fucking plot with the exact same kind of spaceship. I'm gonna have to look it up, man. There's a whole Doctor Who episode, right? I'm just gonna put Doctor Who Event Horizon episode. I'm gonna see if Google knows what I'm thinking of. The Impossible Planet. It does introduce the Ood. I'm not reading the whole thing, but yeah, so there's the Beast, and the Beast is from hell and whatever. Apparently the spaceship was based on the Nostromo from Alien in that episode, so shows what I fucking know. But yeah. It had been corrupted by hell. I do, right, okay, so immediately we've lasted 10 minutes. We're going to spoil the movie. So the premise of the movie is, right, Sam Neill turns up and says to this crew of spaceship people, I don't know, do spaceships just generally look like, let's have a look at the Nostromo. No, it does not. It looks like Notre Dame, more so. Let me find a decent picture of it for you. All of these look like the fucking Millennium Falcon. No. Feel free to rant. Let's get a conversation going. I'm hype about it. Let's. The Nostromo is. It's kind of like a cross between a motorbike and the Millennium Falcon. I can't describe it. It looks like a. Oh. Hang on. Okay, hang on. Nostromo spaceship. Am I looking at the right thing? Right. Let me just. Hang on, I'll just swap one of these images out. Sam Neill. Good night. Hang on. The Nostromo looks. Just we can compare. It doesn't look like a dick at all. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Can't find it anyway. Saved it. Oh no, it's in the download so far. What? Oh, Alien Nostromo. Okay, hang on. That's the Nostromo. Hang on. Hang on. Yeah. It's like the one that's... Alright, hang on. Where's my cam? Bringing it up front. There you go. That's the Nostromo. It looks like it's got shades on. That does not look like a dick. I'm just gonna throw that right back out there. Doesn't look like a dick. From the top down, I still don't think it's gonna look like a dick. I am sorry. I admire your commitment to the bit though. Alright, back to Sam Neill, you can sit up here. A graffiti dick, shaft and balls. Right, okay. So we was I don't even like okay, let's get a picture of it just so that we can compare, right? Because right, the Event Horizon is itself looks phallic. It looks dick shaped. If a dick had wings. But yeah. What am I doing? Right. Just to satisfy, we're just gonna compare because I feel like getting up the alien spaceship and then not getting up, you know, that's this is the this is the Event Horizon, right? This is the dynamics that we're talking about. Okay, we're looking at okay. That doesn't I don't Elliot, that's the stubbiest dick. That's the it's a turtle dick, man. That is a very long link. Okay, but come on, man. Come on, hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Oh my god. Okay, right, but hang on. Right, but which one of these looks more phallic? Be honest now. Which one looks more like a penis? I'm gonna put up a poll. You get 2 minutes. Definitive. You can spend your bitties. I don't care. Okay, everything there is a lot like we're talking about horror. Okay, I'm gonna have to put everything back to the way it was, but like, which one looks more like a dick? Out of the fictional sci-fi spaceships, Nostromo, right? Okay, Elliot's obviously voted for Nostromo. I'm gonna pull it. Okay, I'm putting right. Well, I guess I should leave up the images while the poll is going. I mean, it's a sturdy dick. Don't get me wrong. The Nostromo. This is the Nostromo. This is the Event Horizon. It's gonna be a tie, but like, yeah, which one's more dick-like? Yeah, I guess we're not getting anywhere. But okay, so now that we've safely had a totally normal discussion about which spaceship looks more like a dick. Just for, yeah, we've only got one vote. It's one from me, it's one from Elliot. I don't think anybody else wants to get involved in this shit. So it's going to be a draw, and that's fine. I'll put everything back to normal. Everyone can accept whatever is more dick-like. You know, in their own minds. But I do think this looks more, the Event Horizon looks like a dick. Okay, it's a draw. Right, let's go back to our regularly scheduled programming, which was talking about the movie. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. I've got so many pictures of the Nostromo in my fucking folder now. Where is Sam Neill? Where's my Event Horizon picture? Right, you go back down. Oh, let's tidy up. Yeah, so we're talking about Event Horizon today, not necessarily penis-shaped spaceships, but obviously we're also having that important conversation. She voted for Nostromo. Okay, well, she's also biased. Okay. Well, there you go. She knows. She gets it. Thank you, Mrs. Elliot. The balls are at the bottom of the balls are. Why are we so? Right. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. Bringing it back down again. Let's just move my cam back in the way. Just tidying up, right? Just some general housekeeping. Thanks, guys, for your patience while I put everything back to where it was at the beginning of the stream. Right. So the base is the balls, and then the end is the why. Oh, right. For it to look like a penis, it needs a shaft. Okay? You know, the penis part is the shaft. Balls are never. Why are we talking? Event Horizon is the penis-shaped spaceship. Right. Yeah, we need to move on. So now that we've established that, welcome. We're talking about Event Horizon. Let's talk about dicks and balls. Event Horizon. So basically, we'll start with, I'll just do a quick overview of the story in case anybody wasn't awake or paying attention, because it's boring. It's not boring. The movie is basically, this is what happened, right? I was talking about Sam Neill and then I got distracted by dicks and balls. So Sam Neill has commandeered a crew to go investigate the Event Horizon. The Event Horizon went missing or wasn't in its preferred location at a certain point. It went missing so many years ago and now it's reappeared. So they're going to go investigate. So he's taking a crew. It's Doom in space, though Doom is already in space. Yeah. So the short version is that the Event Horizon is Sam Neill's. He's the scientist that created it, and the way that it works is that the Event Horizon is capable of creating wormholes which can take you to, hi Katja, I feel like this is Katja's fault that we watched Event Horizon, so welcome in. You have just missed quite an extensive conversation about whether or not the Event Horizon spaceship looks more like a dick than the spaceship in Alien, which is called the Nostromo. You missed it. I'm not going back to it. We did talk about dicks for about 20 minutes. So I'm just briefly telling you my understanding of the story of Event Horizon. Sam Neill created a spaceship that can create a wormhole which can go to wormholes and travel faster than the speed of light. And we, in a way, established that the spaceship created a wormhole that went beyond space. And it's revealed quite obviously I'm gonna spoil it, it's revealed that it went to or a hell chaos realm of some description and brought back the crew, and the spaceship is now possessed with chaos and hell, and it brought hell back with it. Basically, it created a wormhole, went to hell, came back, brought hell with it, and now the spaceship is possessed and is bringing evil to this universe, or whatever you want to call it. So Sam Neill is evil. I clocked it from the first 10. As soon as he saw his dead wife, who is just a dream at the start, and I was like, she's dead, he's crazy. And I knew it. Well, let's get you out of that depressive hole and talk about this movie. Come on. We're doing it. It's not your fault. We had fun. I genuinely had fun. I've just talked about penises and dicks for a while. So the spaceship went to hell or a depressive hole, whichever one you want to describe it as. If you're sure, I'm down for that. And it brought back hell. Basically, it's common. So it's a really good idea for a movie, and I really like the premise. I think for a movie that was made in 1997, I think it was a good idea. I think it's quite cool, and I liked the sets. The actors are all pretty great. There's a lot of stuff that I did like about it. I just think for what it was, it felt like it was missing something, and it felt like the ship itself was quite selective in how it tortured the crew, and the crew were very thinly drawn, apart from maybe Sam Neill's character. But obviously, because he's evil, it kind of or he's possessed or whatever, it kind of holds you at arm's length with his character also. So I just think that the characters were thinly drawn, the actors were good, the sets were great, the premise is fun. It's spaceship in hell, yeah, spaceship that went to hell and back and brought hell back with it. That's a good idea. That's a great idea for a movie, and it's got a penis-shaped spaceship, which, again, holds some fascination for me. Maybe there's a Freudian slip right there, but yeah. And the penis is alive, and it's making everyone do weird shit. It's a good idea for a movie. Anyway, so what I did was I did a little bit of reading. I did actually investigate. And apparently, so we found out that I dropped a thing on the floor. I fiddle when I'm talking. So yeah, it travelled to a hellscape / chaos universe and brought hell back with it. That was what it did. And the crew that was on the ship came back, and we get a recording of them all screaming and talking Latin, and then at one point we do get a video footage of the recording, and everyone is from what I could tell, raping each other and cutting each other to pieces, and it was very graphic and very gross. And then there's also a bit where there's a Hannibal Lecter almost moment where Jason Isaacs is just laid and spread eagled and cut open, and yeah. So yeah, it could have jumped through dimensions. Basically, the idea was that it was able to create wormholes and travel through. Yeah. Maybe that's why it didn't come back for so many years. I think it was a period of time. I think it was 16 years, but I might have been dreaming that. It went away for a few years and then it came back. Anyway, what I found out was that Paul W.S. Anderson, who's billed as Paul Anderson, and one of my favourite reviews on Letterboxd was wow, that guy brought out Event Horizon and Boogie Nights in the same year. What a dude. Because he's just billed as Paul Anderson on the credits, but it's Paul W.S. Anderson, not Paul Thomas Anderson. Two different guys. Paul Thomas Anderson made Boogie Nights, which is his directorial debut in his 20s. And I think Paul W.S. Anderson, this was one of, if not one of his most earliest movies. I don't know, did he do Mortal Kombat before this, or? I feel like he did Mortal Kombat before this. I think Mortal Kombat was his first one. Yeah, okay, he did make Mortal Kombat. Thank you, Jace. But yeah, so what happened was, so this is apparently from what I read, basically. I don't know if it was the studio. So it was Paramount Studios that were the production that owned the production rights or whatever, and they basically said to him, to Paul W.S. Anderson, that he needed to make the movie faster. They didn't have enough time to make the movie, is the short version of it. So they wanted to rush it out to get it in the cinemas ahead of Titanic, which was a disaster movie, and they wanted to get it out before James Cameron cranked out Titanic. So apparently they lost several weeks of production time and editing time. And there was a director's cut that was proposed, but like they just deleted and extended scenes on a DVD, but they never actually made the movie as it was originally intended. But apparently there's, because of the quick production or the sped up production, it meant that certain aspects of the CGI weren't finished. The zero gravity sections, which we've already criticized as being dumb as shit, were bad because they didn't have enough time to polish them or edit them better. And apparently, what else was it? It was like, yeah, just editing, and they had to cut out quite a lot. Yeah, they did a test screening, and apparently the raping and the gore and all of that stuff, they had to edit it down quite significantly because test audiences were growing up, apparently, depending on what you believe. The guy that made Mortal Kombat didn't make the guy that made Mortal Kombat said, "I will make you a spaceship movie from hell, spaceship." And then they said, "Right, do it 6 weeks faster than we originally intended for you to do it." And he said, "Yes." Yeah, apparently that's gross, but yeah, I don't doubt that. Yeah, the raping scene got cut down quite significantly. But yeah. Yeah, so it's one of those twists of fate. Titanic came out a few months later. So Titanic basically sunk this movie. You like that? I was proud of that. Not worry. Okay, I'll shut up. He's so sunk the movie. Went down with the ship. Never mind. Too highbrow. Yeah. I gave it. I went for it. What? Thank you, Katja. Appreciate it. Yeah. So, Event Horizon, the movie. So, like I say, there's things that I liked about it. I liked the sets. I liked the actors. I liked the premise in general. I think the general feeling was that I was missing something and that it could have been a bit more like deeply felt and explored, and they cut it down to an hour and a half because they just couldn't leave in half of the gory bits, so they cut down quite a lot of it. Yeah, it was overly gratuitous. So it grossed. Is that how much it grossed? I've not seen the, like. So apparently the budget for this movie was $60 million, and its box office was $42 million. So that's a definite bomb. Mortal Kombat was grossed 100. Well, there you go. So he had a hit. Then they gave him Event Horizon and said, you had a success with Mortal Kombat. Make this movie extra fast now. So yeah, Titanic really just was like the black hole of the cinema that absorbed everybody else's. Like 1997 was a bit skewed towards the giant box office success that was Titanic, which I think is like still one of the most highest grossing movies I've ever made. Titanic was Titanic cost $200 million and grossed $2.2 billion, allegedly. I don't know if that's for like adjusted for inflation, but according to Wikipedia, 2.2. Yeah, it was like, I was at primary school and we watched it at primary school. That's like, in hindsight, fucked up. But yeah, it was one of the most expensive movies ever made at that point. So yeah, mid-budget science fiction horror movie set in space didn't do very well. Yeah, everybody's parents, everybody and their nan had Titanic on VHS. Yes. I was still lurking on your stream. Mixed Worlds was streaming Final Fantasy X at that point. I was kind of like hoping that I could watch the end of your stream when I finished, but your Thunder Plains let you down, man. He does like films. He doesn't like Ishtar. So yeah, Titanic basically is the reason for this movie not getting a decent edit or not doing very well. I mean, you can't. Depends. Got 2 genuine lols. Okay, I'm gonna take that as a win. So, yeah, there's a lot. So yeah, there's a penis-shaped spaceship that is sitting outside of Neptune, and it's been possessed by the demons from hell, and it's been jumping around, and it's come back, and the crew are all dead, and Lawrence Fishburne and Sam Neill and their crew, including Jolie Richardson, who's Australian, go and investigate. Jason Isaacs is there also. And Paul W.S. Anderson of Mortal Kombat and Resident Evil movie fame directed it. That's the movie in a nutshell. Jason Isaacs and his beautiful eyes. Yeah, he got the best death scene out of everyone. He got absolutely gutted. And I think if you're in a movie like this, you genuinely do want to get the best death scene, and I think he won. He won the death scene lottery, although Sam Neill got to wear a shit ton of crazy makeup and prosthetics. Good for him, we were, yes. No, you should be happy for him. He got an iconic death scene. Like, if you're in one of those movies, you want to get the best death scene. I mean, there was Justin he was just in time. Something about that, I don't know. He got thrown out into space. That was a pretty decent thing. Yeah, I get it. I get the gutted for him. I get, because, you know, like, okay. The Resident Evil where the guy's trying to dodge the laser room in the Resident Evil movie, also directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. That's pretty good. I also always think of, because it's about the same level of schlock, 13 Ghosts, where it's like, if you've not seen it, 13 Ghosts is in like a big glass house with ghosts in it, and it's all like glass walls and stuff, and the door like shuts like that, And then there's a guy and he gets like cut in half. That stayed with me. Went right through them, and like one side just slides down. It was grim. 13-year-old me did not like that. But yeah, I think this movie was on about, like, it reminded me of that kind of like 13 Ghosts. That's the movie I thought of when I was watching it. I was thinking, this is just like that level. But 13 Ghosts had Matthew Lillard in it, which was, I love him. What were we talking about? I think so. The general consensus is that the movie then became a cult classic or a cult following, and it is influential. And there is a lot of talk about. So, I think it was Tinny mentioned that if you take the story, it folds in with Warhammer lore. Like it kind of works as a Warhammer 40,000 40k kind of prequel. Apparently it has a cult following. It's open, that's according to Wikipedia. I don't know shit about Warhammer either. However, there's basically with Warhammer there's I know it's like basically like set in the future, and there's like the human race, and then there's all these kind of monsters and stuff, and it's like the Dark Age of Technology story apparently is the one that it seems to reference, and it yeah, that all of the stuff that happens in Event Horizon kind of works as a prequel to the Warhammer universe. No one would ever call you odd for loving Sonic. Yeah, I mean, I think horror is having a resurgence. I think that like there is I read a thing about elevated horror and how it's kind of reinvigorated horror as a genre. So it's kind of made it so, you know, you've got your like Ari Asters and you've got your Eggers. Obviously I know Katra likes Robert Eggers, the guy that did The Lighthouse and The Witch and Nosferatu and all that The Lighthouse and all those. He's always doing a new film. But yeah, like yeah, so I didn't come up with the phrase elevated horror, but it's basically like A24 and production movie. Like basically it's kind of added a cerebral strand to the horror movie genre, and it's made it seem a bit more highbrow. And you know, like honestly, everybody always goes mad about Toni Collette not winning an Oscar for Hereditary, because she was very good in that movie. And I watched Hereditary, and I didn't think it was that. I didn't rate Hereditary. I didn't think it was that good. But I did like Toni Collette in it. And I also watched Midsummer, and didn't think it was that good. I didn't think it was that good. But I did like The Lighthouse, so maybe I'm just Philistine, you know. Midsommar is one of those ones where it's a good movie. Like it's pretty and it's interesting to the extent that it's like it's a horror movie. So this whole elevated horror genre is basically, it's not the horror of what's happening, it's not the blood, it's not the gore, it's the emotional trauma that we've experienced along the way. That's where they're kind of going with it. I mean, I personally didn't think I needed to see Robert Pattinson jacking off in a movie, but I watched that happen in The Lighthouse repeatedly. Can't unsee that shit, man. And that felt horrifying. But yeah, there was a lot of things that were weird about it. 13 Ghosts is a cult classic. It is the one where he gets cut but in half, yeah. It's the only thing you remember from 13 Ghosts. It's that bit, and maybe there's the bit Matthew Lillard just doing anything in that movie, and there's like the lady that's all like stabby, stabby, stabby. Hey, the cowboy, we're talking about horror movies. He's having, yeah, that's a dream though when he's having sex with it. That was a dream. Yeah, I mean, who in their right mind would want to have sex with a mermaid? Really? Talking about The Lighthouse when I'm saying that. The Lighthouse is quite a phallic shape, yes. You did, but it's okay. You're here now. We're talking about Event Horizon. We had a vote. Which spaceship looks more like a penis? The Event Horizon or the Nostromo from Alien? And it was a tie. I don't. Although Mrs. Elliot did confirm. She came on my side. Thank you for stopping by, Jace. Thank you for having a chat. Always a pleasure, buddy. So yeah, I'm kind of like saying like obviously movies now, like horror movies are going through a renaissance of sorts, where this whole elevated horror is kind of making people reevaluate, like horror movies. They're kind of like, because they're cheaper to make and they're not as generally like, they're not prestige movies. Like a horror movie is just generally considered like mid to low budget. You don't get high budget horror movies, not apart from maybe like Eggers at this point. Like I can't think of massive high budget horror movies. But Event Horizon in and of itself, I think the fact that it did cost $60 million, I know that makes it like a mid-budget, but that still seems quite a decent chunk of change to spend on a horror movie. Yeah, It Chapter 2 was a financial flop though, wasn't it? I'm gonna look that one up. I remember seeing that movie, and I think what happened with It Chapter 1, well they just made the wrong decisions on it. No, it seemed like it did okay. So the budget for It Chapter 2 was $79 million. The box office was $473 million. So, it grossed enough money. That's mad. I didn't expect it to make that much money. But I know that the original, like, It Chapter 1 was, like, a massive success. So that was around 40 million to make and 704 million at the box office. It was, like, okay, so we have elevated horror, which is psychological trauma, and A24 and Ari Aster and Roger Eggers. I keep saying his name wrong. And then you also have Stephen King adaptations. And that is, like... that's horror movies as a general rule at the minute. Stephen King movies and A24. And then you've got like a few that obviously poke through or are remakes of other movies from like non-English movies. The problem with It Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 is that It Chapter 1 was very, very popular and it had all the kids in it. And then studio execs were like, you can't make Chapter 2 and not have the kids in it, because that was the draw of the first one. Because It Chapter 2 was supposed to just be the adults. And they blinked. And they ended up just bringing the kids back and de-aging the children because they'd grown up. And basically just rehashing the first movie and making a 3-hour-long movie where half of it was a ginormous waste of time. It Chapter 2 was like a fascinating mess of a movie. But I really, really like Bill Hader. So I like sat through it multiple times. Yeah, the studio execs were like, you can't make the movie without the children. And they were like, well, the whole point of the movie was it was supposed to be the adults. And they were like, nope, get the kids back. It was a mess. It was bad. What was the horror film with Xander from Buffy where they're all trapped in a house after a comet flies, but they couldn't see? That one's a really low budget movie. That one is shit. I have watched it. It's like it's a like class. It's a really low budget movie. Like Confluence or Conference. It's weird. I know exactly what you're talking about though. Well, let me just, it was a really good movie. I say it was a really good movie. I think I'd give it like 3 stars. Coherence. Coherence. So that was like micro budget movie that was made on $50,000, and it basically all takes place in a really small. It takes place in a house, and like the characters will go outside and like realize that they're trapped in the neighborhood or something, and there's like alternate versions of them all running around, and it's weird. It's a good movie. Like definitely, I'll find the page for it because that was made like on a micro budget. That was really cool. I'm trying to think. There was another movie that was similar to it where they made like a time machine. It's literally like it's the weirdest movie. There was another one where I gave it 3 stars. It's what is it? Yeah, Primer. That was the one that was also on a micro budget. So yeah, I think it's a horror movie. But that is another movie. If you liked Coherence, you would like this movie. They're both like movies that were made on like micro budgets with high concept like sci-fi things. And Primer's like it's like a time travel thing. It was made on a budget of $7,000. I went through a phase of watching micro budget movies. They made a box where they could like it's time travel. It's so confusing. But yeah. Coherence and Primer, they're both really small, yeah, it's a time travel. You will love it, like genuinely. Primer is like, you want to talk about cult movies, that is like the definitive cult movie. It was made on literally no money at all. It's better than Final Fantasy 1 time travel, I swear to God. It's really cool. Yeah, it is. It's really worth watching. Like, if you want to watch something that you've not, yeah, it's definitely experience. It's not like a conservative party conference, because Xander from Buffy was at that house, but yeah. Yeah, Mutsuki was talking about Steins Gate the other day, and trying to get me to watch. I feel like he was trying to get me to watch it, but I don't know. He sent me some music from it. But yeah, if you want like, yeah, cult films, Primer, I'm just looking at the list of cult movies on Letterboxd now. I'm just trying to see if Event Horizon is on this list for my own sanity. Is Event Horizon on this list? I don't think it is, man. I've just like looked at the list of cult movies on Wikipedia, and Event Horizon is not on there. Well, there you go. I've been lied to. So yeah, so Event Horizon, again, it's one of those ones where it's like a good premise. It's studio interference that fucked it, I think. and Titanic. Go figure, 1997. But yeah, it's kind of cool. It's visceral. It's scary. It's got loads of stuff going for it. I just think that like for me, like a movie lives and dies on whether I give a shit about the characters, and ultimately I did not give a shit about any of the characters in the movie. Like apart outside of the fact that I find the actors quite charming and quite entertaining. If you're making a movie where you're gradually gonna ultimately pick up all the characters in succession, which is a great TV show. Yeah, I need to care about at least one of them, and Sam Neill's character obviously gets the most development because of his dead not dead wife, but like there's something off about him. I never trusted him. And Lawrence Fishburne gets a subplot where the ghost that's kind of like he's getting haunted by somebody who died and it was his fault, but again I don't give a shit. And then there's one that had a kid, like one of the female space cadets has a kid who may or may not have physical disability. Yeah, didn't give a shit. Yeah, and I think that's it. I think if you're building, if you know, this is why in a horror movie you need to at least have a connection, if not to the final girl or whoever's gonna ultimately survive, you need to at least be able to like have that emotional through line where you can kind of feel it. Otherwise it just doesn't work. And I think that's where the whole like elevator horror kind of tropes are coming from, because it's building a lot on emotion, it's building a lot on character development. It's not, again, the joke is it's not the gore or the horror, it's the emotional trauma that we experienced along the way. Justin just didn't baby bear. He the fact that I didn't even realize, like, I just thought he was dead, and then at the end they're like, oh yeah, there's Justin, he doesn't look good, but he'll survive. And it was just like, Justin survived? I thought that guy was dead. But yeah, I think that's it. I think it's a mid movie. It's like, it's the definition of like, you tried your best and failed miserably. Like, but I do think that the idea, like, spaceship from hell is a good idea. Like, I would never say it wasn't. It was fun. I like that idea. I like the premise. It was just a schlocky, poorly structured situation. Yeah, the blonde lady who may or may not have been Australian. The girl, she was, one of them was Cooper. I remember Cooper, the black man that wasn't Lawrence Fishburne. He was sexy. No, he spent most of the movie outside of the ship, so he didn't get like spooked by the ship. So he got off pretty lightly. But again, like, the whole like spaceship being possessed and the spaceship making them go crazy and stuff, it's just you just don't feel it. It doesn't, there's nothing tangible. Like, it could be spooky, but I think in the way that they did it just wasn't skilled enough to kind of convey the horror of the situation. Like, yeah. I have watched House on a Haunted Hill. I guess that's another elevated horror guy. What's his name? Like Mikey Flanagan or some shit. It's Mike Flanagan. He's doing like horror he's done like Stephen King. He did Doctor Sleep, didn't he? Yeah, and that again. And the reason that is done so well is because the family have an emotional connection to the house. We're working on the fact that, you know, like, there's precedent and there's trauma, and they were there in their childhood and then were working through the trauma later. Not the House on Haunted Hill. Not the haunting. What? Not the haunting of Hill House. The House on Haunted Hill. What's the difference between what? I'm sorry. There's no way. What is the difference? House on Haunted Hill. Is that a Stephen King? Hill with a haunted house. A house on how am I supposed to know? Like that's the same words in a different formation. And I'm supposed to right, what's the House on a Haunted Hill? Is it the recent remake or is it the 1957? There's so many hills with houses on them. Okay, there is a 1999 film called House on Haunted Hill, which I personally have never seen. Jeffrey Rush is it. Yeah, okay, I'm on the right. Tay Diggs was in it. Peter Gallagher. Sandy Cohen was in it. Oh my god, I have to watch it. There was a Silent Hill. They made the movies and the games. The family trauma and the horror, that's good. That's good. If you haven't watched the Haunted Hill House family one, it's on Netflix. It's Michael Flanagan. There's The Green Mile. Stephen King. No, I've never seen House on Haunted Hill. The plot follows a group of strangers who are invited to a party at an abandoned insane asylum, where they're offered $1 million each by an amusement park mogul if they're able to survive through the night. Ooh. It was produced by Dark Castle Entertainment, which I know is Robert Zemeckis the one that's like running that. Yeah, wait. You don't buy a house on a hill or next to an Indian graveyard or anywhere near any kind of like burial place. Wait, what? That doesn't sound right. That's not what I'm seeing from this list of things, but yeah. Which one's got Owen Wilson in it? Owen Wilson's in horror movies? What? Oh, wow. No, it doesn't. Chris Katana is in it? Seriously? Weird. I just know him from Night of the Roxbury. Sorry, what? Pardon me for asking, but why are we talking? Yeah, he's in the House on Haunted Hill movie, allegedly. Why? It's got a weird list of actors in it. Like I said, it's got Tay Diggs. It's got Famke Janssen. I can't say her name. It's got Ali Lauder, who is just blonde generic lady who also turned up in the Resident Evil movies as Claire Redfield, and she was fucking terrible. Jeffrey Rush is in it. Bridget Wilson, who she's just blonde. I don't know who the fuck that is. Peter Gallagher is Sandy Cohen. It does the building ship trying to kill everyone better than Event Horizon. That's probably because it's set at an insane asylum. And yeah, I guess it's doing a similar thing. Also, unlike Event Horizon, which I believe was a script that was pulled out of Paul W.S. Anderson's ass, this is actually based on a 1957 movie. So I think it had the benefit of having a screenplay to work from and modernize and having, but like, again, horror movies have always been remade, so Her accent is so Americanized and she's about to turn 61. How is that even possible? I bet she looks really good for a 61-year-old. Zonatop. Onatop. Oh, right. Yeah, no, she's in Austin Powers or something. Yes. I'll look her up now. She does look really good. Her face is unnaturally smooth. It's kind of terrifying. I am right. So she was in James Bond. Banging film. GoldenEye. Actually, I need to put this up for a debate. Which James Bond movie is your favorite out of all of them? Just keep in mind that I've like seen the main Sean Connery ones. I've seen Doctor No. I've seen a handful of Roger Moore. I think I've seen His Majesty's Secret Service, but I didn't make an imprint. And Pierce Brosnan, I feel like, is our generation. Daniel Craig. Craig, David. What are we talking about? The one with the space laser in Die Another Day. GoldenEye has Pierce Brosnan and Shana Pal. So GoldenEye was Pierce Brosnan's first one, right? And Die Another Day was his last one? I feel like which one's The World Is Not Enough? Is that the middle one? Tomorrow Never Dies was one of them. So there's like 4. I also watched the ones from the 80s with, what's his name? It's got beautiful eyes. The other guy. Hey, Tinny! We've gone off topic massively. I know the day was his last one then, because Halle Berry was in his last one. That much I know. We're talking about James Bond for some reason. Yeah, that makes sense. Die Another Day was the last one. So it's like GoldenEye, The World Is Not Enough, Tomorrow Never Dies, and Die Another Day. That's so confusing. He's got too many dies in his titles. Right, okay, yeah, we can do Warhammer now. Because I did touch on it and then had nothing to contribute to. I just said it was like mentioned. Tomorrow was definitely his second. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, we got onto this because Famke Janssen is in a remake of a movie about a possessed house that kills people, and that was done better than Event Horizon, which had a similar premise but wasn't a remake of a movie from the 50s. However, by talking about Famke Janssen, I can't say her name properly, I am sorry. We then talked about her James Bond character, whose name I'm not going to pronounce due to not wanting to sound like an idiot. And now, thank you, Dickover. And now, what are we talking about? So now we're just mentioning which one is our favourite James Bond movie, and we're discussing the order of Pierce Brosnan's movies. But yeah. Right, okay, yeah. So from my understanding, yeah, so the Event Horizon ship went through a portal into hell, from what I can tell, and came back bringing hell with it, is what I'm thinking. So the portal, they went into hell and they came back and the ship was possessed and killing everyone, on like just making everyone a bit crazy. Hey RX, welcome. Okay, so he's going to explain. Okay, in this TED Talk, yes, please. Distract me. Let's talk about Event Horizon. Can you succinctly tell us how Event Horizon is connected to the Warhammer universe in such a way. He's typing. He's hard at work. Okay. And I think I'm going to say that my favourite James Bond, because I'm a basic bitch, is Casino Royale with Daniel Craig. Don't care. I like Pierce Brosnan, but like, don't love any of his James Bond movies. And I know I'm going to get yelled at for this. That's okay. I like it when people watch me on the TV. GoldenEye. We'll do a James Bond one. I'll add it to the list. I need to start writing a list. Alright. Yeah. I'm gonna get like none of them. You're not a James Bond girly. Yeah, this is it. I think it's like, which one did you really enjoy the most? Right. So, just to make you aware, while we're waiting on the information, I've got a pen and paper. So, with the movie night, next month is going to be November. It's Wim Wenders November. I'm going to make you watch a Wim Wenders movie. Wim Wenders is a German director, and I am going to give you a selection of 4, maybe 5 of his most prolific movies, and you're going to pick which one we're going to watch. I will give brief descriptions because there's no chance that any of you have heard of any of them, so that's fine. And if nobody turns up, it's fine, because that just means I get to talk about Wim Wenders for an hour and a bit. I am excited. And then December is going to be Christmas. And then 2026, the docket is wide open. So if you have any suggestions on a theme, 2026 is where it's at for the movie night theme. So yeah, we've got Wim Wenders November and alternate Christmas movies. I'm not going to do the standard Christmas movies. And when I say standard Christmas movies, I mean I'm going to do alternative Christmas movies, but I'm not going to do Die Hard. And I'm not going to do Gremlins. And I'm not going to do, movies that are set at Christmas that everybody watches because they're so cool. It's going to be Jingle All the Way. Yeah, I think I'm just going to accept. I'm going to put that on the list and then just accept that we're watching Jingle All the Way. Yeah, maybe we could do Bad Santa. Violent Night. Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to write these down. I will read Arix's explanation in a moment. Just bear with me. Christmas movies. Yeah, I actually want it to be like, I don't want it to be like the Die Hard Christmas movies. I do want them to actually be Christmas movies. I just want them to be Christmas movies that people may not have watched before. So, what did I say I was going to put? Jingle All the Way, because, oh my god, classic. And then I'm just going to write, we're going to go Violent Night. Okay. I like that one. David Harbour as Santa. It's cool. Sint. Dutch horror movie. That sounds terrifying. Bad Santa with Billy Bob Thornton. Okay. Right, that's like 1, 2, 3. That's 4. We've got a good list. Awesome. We can do movie night at Catchers TV. I can host. Noise. I'll bring the popcorn. Right, okay, so let me read Arix's explanation for the connection between Event Horizon and Warhammer. Observe as I read. Listen. I don't know. In Warhammer 40k, when they travel at high speed, they travel through the warp. It's described like an ocean of emotions, all the good and bad ones. But because the Warhammer universe is so shitty, it's more bad than good. Sounds like somewhere I know. So those emotions manifest into incorporeal beings which can attack ships that pass through. In Warhammer, they have special shields for this. In Event Horizon, they do not. So if they don't have those shields, the Geller field, which is something that I did read didn't understand it in the Warhammer setting up, then yes. So from what I understand, there's space travel in Warhammer, and if they don't have said shields up, then the emotions and the evil manifestations of whatever will penetrate their minds, so to speak. There are no good guys. Yeah, I've noticed that. I do know a lot. Like, I say I don't know enough about Warhammer. I think what my thing with Warhammer is, I know of it. I know it's big. I know it's got a lot of lore, and I know people keep recommending things, like stories to me, because they are pretty cool. But it's kind of like, if I dip my toe, I don't want to like half-ass it, and I'm not fully prepared for it right now. But I know Warhammer's really like in depth, and there's so many stories, so it's pretty cool. It's super expensive. There's guys in armor, there's hot ladies in some sort of religion that call things heresy, and space orcs. And if they believe something strong enough, it becomes true. Yeah, so the orcs are like able to create anything and manifest anything, and they're the most powerful beings in the universe. However, they're also extremely stupid. I think that's what I know about the orcs. So like, they're the most powerful beings in all of creation, but they just like imagining making things that go boom. That's like kind of their thing. Yeah, racing ships make, yeah, that kind of theory. Like, they only make stupid things because their imaginations aren't very good. So the same incorporeal beings can possess people which equals demonic possession, but they call them daemons. I don't know how to pronounce that. I've never known. Even when I read Northern Lights, I never really knew how to say that. Daemons. Yeah. So stop saying it. You paint it red, it goes fast. Yeah. So they're dumb. That's what I know about orcs. They didn't paint the event horizon faster though, did they? It's a prequel. That's the kind of theory. It's like the event horizon, because in theory the Warhammer like universe is set within our universe, and it's like it's a prequel kind of thing. Well, apparently, according to what I've read, the creators have had to kind of like disavow any connection to the Warhammer universe, possibly due to copyright. But yeah. Champion of the sun, you're a master of karate and friendship for everyone. What are we talking about? Daemon. So Warhammer, no, this is actually a legit fan theory that Event Horizon is a prequel to the Warhammer universe. Apparently it's a well-known kind of cult take on it. Maybe Warhammer have taken it, yeah. Mankind's early contact with the warp. Yeah. So it's a fan theory, which is apparently well known enough to have kind of leaked into the the cultural zeitgeist. No, it's actually like a fan theory that people actually respect and like. And Squall does die on disc 1, and Rinoa is Ultimecia, and no one can tell me otherwise. Brah. Yeah. I mean, it would make sense because the rest of the game makes no sense. I love 8. I love Final Fantasy 8, but the continuity from disc to disc is confusing at best. I feel like 8 has it just resets the story on every disc just to kind of confuse you. It's Final Fantasy. Does he die? He dies at the start of the game. Yeah. Yeah, facial scars. His brain fell out at that point. It was a lobotomy. I mean, it's also got time travel in there, so yeah. I love Final Fantasy VIII's butts. I hate stories that actually are like the dying dream of a character. I think that's like probably one of my least favorite tropes. I also hate stories where they tell you what happened. Like they start with like a cold open on a movie where it's like somebody's pointing a gun at somebody or somebody's dying or something dramatic's happening, and then a voiceover comes in and says, "Oh, I bet you're gonna want to know what happened here. Let's wind back." That's the worst movie trope. Event Horizon didn't do that, so Event Horizon technically is a good movie. I like Eternal Sonata. I did not finish that game, but I did play it. You ever play like a video game where you're playing Frederick Chopin and it's an anime game and the whole game is based on light and dark, and whether you stand in the light or the dark, your moves, like the shadows on the field, your moves are different. It was a fucking weird game. But I enjoyed it, and all the characters are named after musical things. So I just remember the girl being called Polka. Anime Chopin. Weirdest fucking game. I never finished it. I should find it and go back to it and finish it. Ash is in a coma. Ash, the 10-year-old boy, is in a never-ending coma. On a never-ending adventure where he never ages. It's weird. Dragon Ball Z, never ending. Animes go on for a very long time. How did we get onto this conversation? We're talking about Event Horizon, right? Right. I think I've covered everything. Like I say, Titanic is the reason why the movie itself is a mess. There is no director's cut because they didn't have time to do everything that they wanted to do. No, there was a 2-hour 10-minute cut that that Anderson made, but it was too gross and made audience members pass out, so they didn't do that one. I'm not blaming it all on Titanic, but Titanic is, I mean, it's a Paul W.S. Anderson movie. It kind of just had too many things go wrong. I think that's like my general feeling. Like, again, I'm coming back round to Event Horizon could have been a good movie if the people, you know, if it had just been made with just a smidgen more time and space and space. His wife isn't in this movie. He didn't meet his wife until he made Resident Evil. So, there you go. I did say out loud, I did type in the chat, why is he screaming like that? And it was like, ah! It was so stupid. Hi, Sid. How's it going? Yeah, so James Cameron, basically they just wanted the movie to come out before Titanic, so they rushed it. I don't know if more time and better editing and polishing up those CGI effects which look shit would have improved it, and I don't think that Anderson's sensibilities at the time would have saved the movie, but I do think that it was undercut by certain things. I mean, there's, like I say, we're making a joke right at the start about this picture that I've got over here. I can't point. That's Sam Neill, right? And he's got his eyes sewed shut. And then 10 minutes later, his eyes are open, but the rest of his body is all cut to pieces. And the continuity isn't like, it's not a thing in the movie. It doesn't make sense. There's, there is a through line of what happens to the crew, and there's the through line of the spaceship being possessed. But like the way that they did it and all that stuff is like, it's just a bit meh. It could have been better. I understand why people like it, and I do think it's got that like 90s vibe down. Like the sets are really good. I can't get over how good the sets looked. CGI did not look good, but yeah. You're preparing to watch the new Predator next month. Didn't even know they had a new Predator movie coming out. I've never watched any of the Predator movies. I have been trying to watch the Alien movies, but I just, yeah. I know that the Alien and Predator series do overlap at one point. It's not a continuity gaffe, but it doesn't. I guess my issue with it was that, like, it was dumb. I guess. Prey. I have heard that Prey is actually good. It's on Disney Plus. He's full on demon. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to. I didn't need it to make sense. I guess at that point, I was just like, this is just stupid. Prometheus is an alien movie. Killer of Killers is animated. Cool. I heard that Prey is good if you don't know that it's a Predator movie, yeah. He's lagging in the chat. Okay, so tagging me in the chat was cute. You guys are cute. So yeah, I think my ultimate opinion of Event Horizon is I liked it. I think it had potential. I think it wasn't. I gave it 3 stars, so that means that I liked it. I just didn't love it, but I appreciate what it was trying to do. I think that's my that's kind of like my opinion. I liked it. I didn't hate it. I admired what it was doing. I think I felt like it was missing a lot. I felt like things weren't quite as connective, or as I wasn't drawn in a way that helped with the emotional through line of the movie. It was just a schlocky kind of experience that I will ultimately forget about. But it's a decent movie that you can stick on, and for a Halloween movie, I think it was fun. We went to hell and back. It was all right. Yeah, it's got a horror element to it. It's very 90s. It's very schlocky. I don't think there's anything wrong with those kind of movies. I don't think it's the worst movie. I just think it was kind of like, it didn't live up to the potential that it had, I think. And timing with Titanic just sunk it, which is my joke. Predator and Prey. Predator is bad. I don't know enough about the Predator series, if I'm honest. Yeah, thank you, Dagoba. Appreciate you. So next month we're watching Wim Wenders movies. Again, that is a Wim Wenders is a German director. I will be putting a vote up in the Discord. If you're not on the Discord, please join the Discord if you want to partake in our next movie night. The Discord link is here. I will be putting a vote up in the next couple of days. I will be giving you a list of movies and I will describe them to you so that you know what you're voting for. Wim Wenders is again a German director who made some baller movies in the 70s and the 80s, and then just kind of went off and did his own thing for a couple of decades, and then came back and made a movie about toilets in Japan, and it was supposed to be an advert, and it was Oscar nominated. So he's a cool dude. I like him. He's got good energy, and the whole point of movie night, I was told, was that I was supposed to be introducing people to movies that they would not otherwise watch. And I think this is kind of like my definitive stab at making you guys watch something a bit more esoteric, a bit more cinephile, a bit more my alley. Yeah, so he Wim Wenders got given a bunch of money to make an advertisement for the public toilets in Tokyo, and Wim Wenders doesn't do this shit by half. Wim Wenders made a feature-length narrative movie about a toilet cleaner going around Tokyo cleaning the toilets, and it had an emotional story about, you know, committing to something and being a good person and having a baller soundtrack. So yeah, is it gonna be number 1 or number 2? Ha ha ha. So yeah, he you can ask an off-topic question. There is never a question that I will not answer. By all means, catcher. So yeah, the toilet movie is his most recent movie. And then there's Paris, Texas, which is one of the best movies I've ever made, in my opinion. Yeah, we were supposed to be talking about Event Horizon. We've gone off on several tangents. Paris, Texas is one of his movies that I want you guys to watch. And Wings of Desire is like my favorite movie. So, Wings of Desire is about angels, and it's got Nick Cave in it, and it's got Peter Falk in it, and it's fucking amazing. I know that it's not going to be picked, but that's my favorite one. Have I watched Sopranos or Twin Peaks? I'm going to be completely honest, tried to watch both of those TV shows. I watched all of season 1 of Twin Peaks and got like 13, maybe 14 episodes into season 2 of Twin Peaks, and then gave up like everybody else in America. And then Sopranos, I didn't make it past season 1. Yeah. Yes, the granddad from The Princess Bride. Dakoba, vote for Wings of Desire and you will see him. He's Columbo. He's in the movie. He's fucking great. Yeah, so that was my honest opinion on Sopranos and Twin Peaks. I like Twin Peaks. I think my issue with Twin Peaks is Twin Peaks peaked on the first episode for me. So like the first episode is like a movie length thing. It's like 90 minutes long. And the first episode of Twin Peaks, in my opinion, is the best movie ever made. And then everything that happened after it, I didn't get. I'm on fire. I like David Lynch. I never like. The problem with Twin Peaks is that David Lynch was forced to reveal the mystery. He was forced to give a resolution to the mystery of who killed Laura Palmer. And as soon as he did that, the TV show sucked. It just dragged. And that's not an uncommon opinion. And as I say, once that reveal was made, I didn't last many more episodes because it was just dragging. And I don't think I'm wrong in feeling that way. I just don't think David Lynch wanted to reveal who the killer was. And I don't think that the show was supposed to be about that. I think it was supposed to be about Twin Peaks, the location and the vibes, and it just kind of fell apart because the core mystery was the main pull, and everything kind of fell apart because it wasn't for me. I know people have watched all of Twin Peaks and are like obsessed and love it, and you know, but I just think the core mystery and the way that it was handled and the way that it came about and the way that it was like, I think in Lynch's head it was supposed to be like a slice of life experience where you're immersed in these characters and their experiences, and because it was a TV show, and because it was something where you had to kind of be more propulsive and reveal the murder and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I do think that, like, I think with David Lynch, like I say, I don't think a TV show, I don't know because I've not watched the revival of Twin Peaks, but I think he's better at feature-length movies that are self-contained rather than an ongoing TV show where he was somewhat forced to reveal who the killer of Laura Palmer was, and I think it just killed the show, and I think his enthusiasm for it. There is a revival of Twin Peaks. They did it a few years ago. It was very well received. But again, I never watched it. I think David Lynch, if you're referring to like Andy Warhol and like, I think David Lynch is an auteur. I think he's an artiste. I think he is creating art, and he's very idiosyncratic and very much his own creative voice, and that's amazing. And he's so cool, but like that voice can only say so much, if that makes sense. But he was just a fathomless pit of creativity at the same time, but I just don't think that his voice was suited to the TV show in the way that it was in the 90s. I don't know about the revival, can't say shit about the revival, but I do think that his movies are great. I can't fault his movies. Sometimes they do like go on, like I think Lost Highway I couldn't finish because it was too long and unwieldy and weird, and I never finished it, and I never went back to it, and I never felt like I was missing anything by not going back to it. But Mulholland Drive is like amazing. Blue Velvet is disturbing. Elephant Man is devastating. Eraserhead is just weird. But I love it. I love him. He's great. He's a voice. He's a creative visionary. And we should respect that shit because that kind of creativity is impressive. But yeah, Twin Peaks, I don't know. I'm kind of like ambivalent. Like I say, I do think that the pilot, the first 90 minutes of Twin Peaks is like incredible. And then I just lost enthusiasm for it. But yeah. Yeah, and I think that he's his own voice and his own way. He's taking inspiration, but he's crafting it into his own like vision. And I feel like Tarantino gets a lot of credit for copying other people's homework in a way that I don't find as interesting. I just don't think he's got a creative vision. I think he just likes shit and throws them together. And I don't think, whereas Lynch has influences, but creates something his own with a very distinct voice. And Tarantino is repackaging something that he saw somewhere else into a way that he enjoys. And I don't think it's quite the same artistic endeavor. And he has also got a foot fetish, which is creepy, in the way that he forces it on you by making you look at the feet in a way that I don't need to. I'll not get into Tarantino again. But yeah. Because he can see the future, and the future is bright. I love him. I love David Lynch. What a dude. Anyway, right. Wim Wenders, director that I personally love. Yeah, and I guess that's fine. I don't, again, and I feel like I need to stress this, I don't knock anyone for liking Tarantino. I would never, say that you're wrong for liking his movies. I don't like them for the reasons that I've stated. However, if you get something out of it and you enjoy it, and there's nothing wrong. It's entertainment. It's art. It's there to be consumed. It's there to be enjoyed. I just think there's like a million other directors doing shit that's way more interesting to me as a person who loves cinema. I don't think Tarantino's it. Well, that's just my opinion, man. I just don't think he's the godfather of cinema like some people seem to think, because again, I think it just comes down to marketing. I think he's a director that people know, and a lot of directors that people know are prolific and big and make movies with a distinct voice, and Tarantino definitely does that. But I also think that there's an insecurity to him, which, I don't know. The future's bright. The future is orange. Old ads. Right, so November is Windwender's November. I will put all the details in the Discord. December, alternative Christmas. I've got 4 so far. That is an old ad. If you're interested, please do join me again. Thank you for sitting with me today. I'm gonna raid out. I'm gonna go to bed. But I really do appreciate you guys for joining me and hanging out. I hope that you guys get something out of the stream. I hope that you enjoyed it. I do like doing these like different kind of vibes. I enjoy talking to you guys about movies. I really do appreciate hanging out. I do enjoy these experiences with you. I don't know who to raid. But yeah, jingle all the way, jingle all the way. If it's not jingle all the way, it's going to be Violent Night. Yes. Okay, everyone be cool with each other. I don't know who to raid. Who to raid? If anyone has a shout out for who to raid. We're not putting Event Horizon up again. Anywhere you guys want to go? I don't know. Okay, Vile Mods. I don't know who that is. Crafting. Okay. We'll drop you off with Vile Mods. That's crafting. Tinny, crafting! Let's find out together. Okay, so thank you for joining me on tonight's movie night. Thank you for letting me ramble. Thank you for letting me vent, I guess, was most of it. We had fun. I feel like we talked a lot. I feel like we had a definitive answer on whether or not Event Horizon Spaceship or Nostromo was dick. Penis chat, penis spaceships, we had fun. We went through it again a lot. I genuinely do enjoy doing these streams. It's a nice change of pace. We can do it again sometime. Yeah, well, it's Saturday, so yeah, enjoy your Sundays, enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your weekend. I'll be on next week at some point. Don't know what I'm gonna do. Keep an eye on the Discord for the poll and for my schedule updates. Thank you so much. It is really nice just hanging out with you guys. We just chatting. Yeah, I don't know about bouncy castles. I think I have to go to gymnastics tomorrow. We got stuff to do. It's always gonna be stuff going on. I'm always tired. Thank you so much. Stay awesome. Stay amazing. Catch you on the next one. I really do appreciate you guys. It's always a pleasure. I promise. Take care. Bye.